Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans, by fans, with your hosts, Jessy Martin.
Because 90% of them are wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Max Taman.
You've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
John Taman.
What the hell was I talking about?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taman.
Hello to all you people out there in podcast land. It's lovely to see everyone, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Friday evening. It's raining like hell here on the East Coast. Ken's over there. He's sitting down there in Tennessee, sitting in his freaking in his Bermuda shorts, having himself a tan. Look, it's almost draft time, and I said to Jessy, my friend right here to the right, you'll notice we got a full house today. I said to Jessy, I said, look, man, the Commanders were so good last year. I don't know what the fuck to do about the draft. I couldn't care less right now because I don't know who we're going to pick or what we're going to pick or what we're going to do. And he said, let's get Ken on the show. Anyway, there's my friend Jessy Martin from Southeastern Virginia. How are you doing today?
Fantastic.
Good, sir.
A little wet.
Yeah, there he is. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Fresh off a week of work, Jessy Martin, how are you?
Yeah, trying to stay dry, man. It's been like we had the rain earlier this week. It was a hell of a lot. And then today it just fucking rained hard all day long. It's just fucking.
I've heard that Depends really work, but I wouldn't know for sure, but they might help you.
Well, let's just cross that off the old birthday present list.
Well, you ought to know. You ought to know. Because I've got to tell you, in the position you're in, now that you're right over there next to Jessy because of the week, because we have a guest today, I'm going to have to introduce you next. So this is my son, Max, who, when I do eventually need diapers, I will call to change them for me.
Look, when I was 8, you made me promise that there's
That's
no
right.
homes, and I'm the one that has to change your diapers so you could kick me like I kicked you. So,
Well, okay. Yeah, I know, but you were 6, and that was pretty gross. And you were in school, too. All right. Ken Johanssen, down there on the bottom right. Welcome to the show, sir. Our special guest, our draft expert, Ken Johanssen from Middle Tennessee right there. How you doing, sir?
West Tennessee, but I'll take it.
West Tennessee's fine.
Yeah, right on the Mississippi River. Yeah, it's draft time.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks away.
This is your time of year, bud.
We're almost there.
You shine.
And so, yeah, let's get rolling on this.
Hell yeah. And of course, last but never least, the International Fan of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, from what we're expecting, he is going to be knighted. Sir Scott. Good, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. I am geared up for the trip from the Royal Port of Barrow, where it is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, I forgot that was the name now.
It's a new town name, and it's been a beautiful day. Lots of sunshine.
But it's been like what, 25 degrees?
17 C. Yeah.
So what's that, 50?
About that.
Not the same here. I have British weather here right now. 45 degrees, raining, and it's just raw and nasty. It seems like. But
that's
honestly,
every other day over here, John.
I know.
When the Irish Sea hits you,
once a day, Scott gets this weather.
I can just hear the British Internet Corporation saying that Royal Port of Barrow. Let's just cut their internet to shit.
It's 62 max.
Yeah, hot goodness in my world. Look, you're going to be over here soon.
Now, Ken, are you aware that Scott's town of Barrow and Furness, of which it's been called since the days before the Druids?
Yeah, indeed it has, yeah.
That's right. Has now been renamed by King Charles as to the Royal Port of Barrow. And Scott is a duke.
I'm not.
Well, Ken, let me tell you.
Dookie, yes.
That is Canterbury Tales level stuff right there.
There you go.
The only way that Scott's a duke is the ones he's not going to be dropping in Green Bay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
He's more than a duke. He's in the House of Lords now. Right, Scott?
Oh, wow. Well, exactly. Upper Chamber of Parliament, Ken. Come on. I know where you're at, son.
Absolutely.
Why not? But
Look, I'm telling you, when we get off the podcast tonight, he's going to put on ruffles and a powdered wig and go beat the head on it.
Jeeves, I need another Red Bull.
I shall not sleep.
Scott, which actor, British actor, is the only actor to ever be in the House of Lords?
That's a good question.
You know, I have absolutely no idea on that one.
Lawrence
to go in
Olivier.
the Lords.
Lawrence Olivier.
Was it really Laurence Olivier? Wow, there you go. Ex Royal Air Force squadron leader as well. There you go.
Yeah, he was Sir Lawrence, and then he became Lord Olivier. There's your trivia for the day. That's about all for me.
He is in my favorite movie of all time, which is Lawrence of Arabia.
I like everything he did.
Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
You know, if
I've
you've
never seen that movie.
Oh my God, dude! Take an afternoon. It's going to rain tomorrow. You're not riding your motorcycle.
No.
There you go, Lawrence of Arabia. It's worth watching. It is absolutely worth watching. All right, so there's our bullshit session of the show. Here, has anybody got any other bullshit that they would like to bring about that they've got to talk about? Let's see. Karen said you stopped mooning them.
That's not what she said.
Moaning. I'm sorry, my glasses aren't working. It's the end of the day. You stopped moaning then. Okay, well,
yeah, I was moaning about the internet. Yeah, so
I thought it was about something else. Look, this is not the podcast for that. Number one, and number two, if he stops moaning, it's really kind of your fault. All right, let's see here. Who is this?
That's you.
Oh, that's me. All right, who we got here? Calvin. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Brees Hall. Does anybody think we're going to get Brees Hall?
No,
I don't think so. I think.
Would anybody want Brees Hall? What's up, Calvin?
I mean, if it was for like a day 3 pick, sure.
Yeah,
but that's not going to happen.
I mean, it would always be nice to get a game breaker, but are the Jets going to give him up? No.
Nah. Yeah, I think that's just internet talk. I don't think.
Yeah, I saw some tweets going off. Would you give up as like a 2nd round pick or something like that for Brees Hall, or 2nd round pick and Luke McCaffrey? And
I did see that.
No.
Yeah, no.
It was a 2nd, a 3rd, and McCaffrey.
Now I do see us getting a running back in this draft. I
do too.
I don't think we're going to give up assets, plural.
Calvin, everybody would, I believe. That Calvin says he'd take him over B-Rob. And I do believe even Brian Robinson's mother would be like, Brees Hall can come on over to my house. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. All right, we will get to those kinds of things coming up in a minute. We actually have an outline to go by. And we're going to try to go by it here because I sent it to Ken. And if we come off the outline, we're really going to look unprofessional. And he does all kinds of other podcasts and stuff like that. And he's going to start demanding money and shit. I would like it to be known.
I'm not getting paid for this.
Well, you'll have to talk to our first, our CFO up there, Jessy Martin.
I can't hear you. What were you saying? I got to go.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of road crews he can send over to talk to.
Checks on them
out. All right, so let's see here. We do have a list of what we're going to talk about, and I think right now, so we'll bring that up right there. Let's see. Who wrote that right there? Valiance wrote that. Josh Johnson again.
Yeah,
so we did. We signed a quarterback.
Welcome back.
Today. Yeah, welcome back.
Okay.
Well, this is a veteran quarterback.
I'll say.
He's been on a million fucking teams.
I think he was in the German football league, wasn't he? Wasn't he in the Sumatran football league?
I think this is just to kind of push what's our pretty quarterback
Hartman.
Hartman a little bit. It's really nothing to.
That's our pretty quarterback.
It's really nothing to even. I don't even think it's real. It's not due for a real conversation.
Does it say anything about Jeff Driscoll?
I mean,
I don't think he's on the roster.
Yeah, Driscoll's
No,
history has
he's gone.
Spoken for itself. So
I think so. Don't quote me on that. With Josh Johnson, I think he also played in the Greenland League, and that's why Trump wanted him here.
Right.
He was in Antarctica.
He was in the Greenland League. Yeah. He got put on injury reserve because he took a snap from center and it broke his fingers because the ball was frozen solid.
Yeah. Do you want me to read his teams off, John?
Go right ahead. Yes, let's hear where Josh Johnson has been. This is the suitcase stickers.
So he started off as at Tampa Bay from 2008 to 2011. Then he went to the 49ers. Then he went to the Sacramento Mountain Lions. Then the Browns.
Sacramento Mountain Lions?
Yeah. Then the Browns. Then the Bengals. Back to the 49ers. Then back to the Bengals. Then the Jets. Then the Colts. Then the Bills. Then the Ravens.
Hang on.
Then the Giants.
Hang on, we're going to backtrack for a minute there. The Browns looked at the Sacramento Mountain Lions and went, hey, we like the cut of that guy. wait, we're going to talk to that dude.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, Jets, Colts, Bills, Ravens, Giants, Texans, Raiders, Redskins, San Diego Fleet, Detroit Lions.
Hey, he's the number one pick for the San Diego Fleet. Don't forget that.
That's right. That's right.
Los Angeles Wildcats. Back to the 49ers, back to the Jets, back to the Ravens, back to the Broncos, back to the 49ers for a third time, back to the Ravens for a third time, and now he's landed with us.
Ken's like, this is the worst show NFL Network ever had.
Wait, because I just also had this random memory. He made his NFL debut against us.
He scored his first touchdown with us, didn't he?
He won his first game with us.
Right.
But he made his NFL debut as a quarterback of the Buccaneers against us.
Correct.
Dude, with that many teams, he probably could have done that 4 or 5 times. Good gravy. So, Ken, what do you think of this? You said so, right? You did. I'm sorry. I just got lost in that.
I slept through some of that, but
dude's been around. I'm going to guess he's single.
I just see this as you need to have 4 or 5 quarterbacks on the roster when you go to training camp because in the 2, was it now just 2 preseason games or is it still 3?
It's 3.
3.
Yeah, they haven't changed the roster yet.
Yeah, you need to have that extra arm in there, but it's probably good to have a veteran like Driscoll was. So that's all Josh Johnson is. I just don't see him on the roster.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Do you see him on the team, though? He doesn't necessarily have to be on the 53. He can be that guy that hangs. Max,
what are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying, like, Driscoll wasn't on the roster almost every damn week.
You're talking about like the practice squad?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. I think
if nobody else wants him, Jesus Christ, is there an offense he has not seen? Seriously.
Well, Driscoll was the emergency quarterback for each game. So, yeah, he wasn't technically on the roster game day, but if
he was one of the 53.
Jaden and Mariota gone down, Driscoll would have been in there. That's it.
Right. They changed that rule in the middle of the season, though, right? About
I guess Johnson could end up staying here, but he's 38 years old. I don't think that makes 39.
Really, I don't think that matters. Dude hasn't played too much. And if as an emergency, what it says to me is they want Sam Hartman to get a little bit better. Yeah. And, because they'd rather he be in that role. And honestly, like I said, Ken or Max, you're Mr. Statistician. Look him up. I guarantee you that he played for Newt Rockne at one point. He ran the single wing at one point. He was probably, probably there with the 4 horsemen at Notre Dame. So there's not an offense he has not. He probably knows every coach in the league,
Oh, sure.
So to have him at least hanging around for a little while, I think that there's good things that can rub off. Plus, I don't care what anybody says. You put that dude in a game, he will play his freaking ass.
He does. That's one thing that I do remember about Josh Johnson. He
won that game, man. That was awesome.
Everything out on the field. I think the first game that he started with us, I believe it was against the Titans.
We were dead in the water.
So close to winning that game. I remember him just like laying on the turf. He just couldn't get it done, and he was so heartbroken. But I think the next week he turned around and won a game. But yeah, I remember he does lay it out on the field.
Yeah.
So Johnson's first game with us, let's just clear that air. It was the Giants game when we got beat 40-16.
Yeah.
And then he beat the Jags, and then the Titans, and then the Week 17 Eagles game.
Look, I think Ken is probably right. He's borderline roster. I don't think anybody's going to be. I mean, we're not going to the Super Bowl because of Josh Johnson. Although, if we did, I would laugh until I died.
I think we spent about 7 minutes longer than we needed to talk about Josh
I think you're
Johnson.
right. I think you're right. But this is April, right?
I mean, at this point, Josh Johnson's been talked about more on this show than he played for in Cleveland. Like, he played one snap for Cleveland. It was a sack fumble.
Hey, the guy who's scouting the Sacramento Grizzly Bears or whoever the fuck it was is fired.
Mountain Lions.
Get that guy out of here. All right, let's see. What do we got next on the list? All right, international pathway player Scott, please say his name.
Oh my word! But I struggled yesterday with this. It's TJ Magrunayaga.
That's what Scott's going to say before he goes to bed every night now.
Bless you.
So I've actually seen him play rugby. If it's anything to go by, like I've actually seen him live play rugby. He scored 2 tries against my rugby team. He's actually played at a decent level. So he's been playing for Clermont-Auvergne, who are in the French top 14 league. The difference is with rugby players who've been in the IPP pathway before, not a single one of them has made a roster or done anything. And he's playing as a fullback, which you've got to be quite jinky, got a lot of speed, good eyes, good hands.
Was it Mailata?
That's what I'm going to look at right now.
Rugby league. He's rugby league. There's 2 different sports.
Right. Okay.
That's the thing. It's 2 completely different sports. So the ones that jump off the
football and it's football league. Come on now.
No, there's two that jump off the. There's
we found a rugby snob, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, you're saying that, but one plays with 13 players, one plays with 15 players. It's
I get it. It's totally like, 7-man high school football.
Yeah. It's a totally different sport. And it's like, okay.
The Greyhounds.
The Knox City Greyhounds.
The Knox City Greyhounds.
There you go. But yeah, I don't think this guy's probably going to do much at all. But it's nice to have him around. He's going to be an extra man on the roster. He's the 54th player, for want of a better term.
Do we know what what is he coming in as a tackle or
defensive end? Defensive end.
Man. Oh, okay.
But as a fullback, you have to be generally quite skinny, and they're quite slight. And that's what worries me a bit, because if you're a fullback,
you're talking about rugby fullback.
Rugby fullback.
6'5", 225. That's
not a bad size for an edge. You're coming in.
He's probably quick,
but he probably needs about 30 more pounds on him.
Yeah, and you can do that. It's quite easy to build up.
Hell yeah.
It's, as a punt returner, I think he'd do really well. As a kick returner, I think he'd probably do okay. We have to, as a 15 in rugby, you have to catch the ball. You are the backstop, if you like, in that. So you're the one who's at the very, very end of the field. You're catching the ball and you're running forward.
You're catching it like a punt, or are you catching it like a receiver?
Catching it like a punt,
Imagine having a fucking 6'5", 225 punt returner.
225 punt returner. Holy shit,
mate! If he's got the speed as well.
Hey, why not? I'm all for it.
He scored 2 wonder tries against my team, and and I'm like, well, he's playing at the highest level in French professional rugby, where all the money is at the moment. So he's got a good standard of athleticism, that's for sure. But it's whether that can translate onto a football field, I don't know.
He doesn't cost us anything, right? We get a free spot for him, right?
Yeah, we do. Sorry, Ken. Yeah.
Did you play rugby yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So did I.
Okay.
I played for a year. I played inside center.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And but I had a head injury, so after a year, it all ended there.
There it is. I had a
what?
All right. So we've got a rugby player to play edge.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm fine with this. I think that he does have the size, at least. And I mean, I'm not going to go all.
He'd be a good tackler as well,
like we did for that stupid tight end a couple of years ago. But there's no other news to talk about, and I just wanted to see if Scott could pronounce it, because he is the official name pronouncer of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
One more thing. I played rugby when I was younger, but I got a head injury, so I had to end it.
Holy shit. You know what? He probably thought about that 5 minutes ago and said, watch this. Set that whole thing up. Way to go, Ken. That was terrific. All right, let's see. Moving on. Let's see. Number 2, Ken's joke. Number 3. Okay. Now, this I got for you, Ken. I'm asking. We had a special workout for a kicker a couple of weeks ago. What the hell was that?
Guess what? We had another one today.
Oh, God. Ooh. You're hating me. Really? Same guy or another guy?
The 2 best kickers in the draft. Now, do we not take them and wait to see if they go undrafted? I think that's possible. One
is he called? What's he called? Is it Andreas Borgales? Is that how you pronounce his name? Or
Borgales.
Yeah.
Borgales. And Fitzgerald of Florida State. These are the 2 guys that they had private workouts with. Borgales was last week, I believe, or a week and a half ago. Whereas Fitzgerald was today. So there you go.
All right. So, okay. I got a question to go around the room. First thing I want to know is, Max, what's with the freaking hoodie and pulling on? You're like a little troll over there.
Yes, wait till I go ahead and I'll find when they fall asleep. I'll get
Look, shush.
What are you doing with the thing over there? All right, number 2.
This is a comb.
Okay. He's like over there. He's like a little dwarf plotting things. Who is in favor of using a draft pick on a kicker?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Roberto Aguayo.
Right off, flat out, never, ever, never.
If it's like the back end of the 7th round,
yes,
I'm okay with it.
It's a 7th. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So,
I mean, I'm looking at his stats, that guy we had in the other day, and on Andreas, and he's like 18 of 19 on field goals and 62 of 62 on extra points.
And if it's a long snapper, you trade up for him.
Oh, right.
Especially in Green Bay.
Look, we've been hurting for a kicker for
a long time.
I think we had 2 kickers last year that were very good.
I wouldn't call Zane Gonzalez very good.
Dude, he made his kicks when we needed him, didn't he? He put the freaking clutch kicks in. Look, when we look back on this team, when we look at the best 2 kickers we've had, when you go back all the way through, it's like when you think of Mosley and Lohmiller. Mosley's like a 60% kicker. They hit the kicks when they matter. That's what was important. All right. We had a kicker that won a game that Scotty flew all the way across the ocean. Scouts flew all the way across the ocean. Andy Purse flew all the way across the ocean. Ken sat there and watched in his fucking house. That won the game for us by kicking 7 field goals. We had 2 good kickers last year that we pulled out of nowhere. And we re-signed.
To be fair, I was asking for Seibert for about a month.
Yeah. You were, because you knew you were coming over, and you wanted that
and
guy
this
with
team
the
recognizes they do have a kicker problem. They're not, and this proves that they're not sold on Gonzalez or bringing Seibert back. Maybe Seibert's hip injury is, a lot worse than anybody knows.
I'm sorry. I've never seen a kicker chunk before they kicked a ball before. That's the thing about.
No,
Seibert.
I've never seen that either. We saw that twice.
But the fact that they are looking at kickers should tell you something.
It does. I think it's a clear message. But
there's going to be a kicker, either one of those 2, that will be on the roster by early May.
That I can agree with. Now, Ken, I didn't hear you pipe in when everybody else said their answer. Do you think we should ever would you be ever in favor of using a pick on a kicker? Not considering that this is this year and we only have, 5 picks?
I'd rather have a kick on a picker.
There you go.
Anyway.
Hey, man, that's some Mark Twain stuff.
I need to stop with the humor. 7th rounder? Sure.
Don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
All right. So what's our last pick, and how close is it to the end of the draft?
2:15, and I'm probably doing it.
Did they tell you that you might make a pick?
No, they've told me I am doing a pick on day 3.
Really? Beauty.
Oh,
Yes.
I hope you get a fucking hard name. God damn it. I hope you get the hardest fucking name ever.
Like TJ.
19 syllables.
Oh, God. If I could get them to run a crawl underneath that says the official name pronouncer of the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast while he blows it, that would be wonderful.
No, I just want John Smith from Iowa. That's fine.
All right, here's to answer John's question.
Yes.
we do have a seventh round pick, number 245, out of 257. That's right toward the end of the draft. Yeah, that's where you get a kicker.
All right, so let me ask you this. I don't know what number he was, but I know like somebody like Jean-Baptiste we pulled out of the 7th round last year. Am I right about that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have 7 picks to go till the end of the draft, why not just sit, pick a position? I just kickers,
Because
man.
who else needs a kicker?
I guess if you're all right, I will say this because nothing is absolute. If we have only 7 picks to go to the end of the draft, then okay, you can use one on a kicker. But other than that, now I've seen they're looking at punters too.
Yeah, because Tressway is a million years old.
Dude, do you ever draft a punter? Honestly.
Look, Tressway's walking behind Ken right now.
Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, see, there he goes. So, I mean, do you ever lose a pick on a punter?
A kicker gets you points on the board. A punter gets you field position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I agree.
So
But-
with a punter, there's a million of them after the draft every year.
That's
You
the
know,
point. That's the point.
At the very least, there's usually 5 or 8 good ones, and probably 2 or 3 are going to be on rosters. That
Right.
fall. But a kicker, if they're really amongst the best, 1 or 2 being drafted is not the end of the world.
Yeah, it happens every draft.
Well, yeah,
And
okay.
these two are meant to be really, really good.
Yeah. And listen, let's not pretend like we're going to be the Raiders and blow a 2nd round draft pick on or the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers traded up
Yeah.
into the 2nd round, and that guy was gone in 2 years out of the league.
But I mean, a field goal kicker is very, very important. And if they use a 7th round pick, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Like I said, I am against it ever,
but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, they're trying these guys out, so if they make some deals later on, they get abundance of 7 round picks, or if they after the draft is over with, sign them as undrafted free agents. You need to have that stuff lined up and all the information.
Well, see, and that I agree with that 100%. The thing about me is when I say ever, never, the only time I would say okay is when we're within 10 picks of the end of the draft, because then whatever, we'll get the one that we want, that we'll guarantee we'll get him. But I would bet that one of these 2 guys is going to be available at the end.
Maybe
afterwards,
maybe not. You never know, and there's always they got information that we don't have. They're going to know other teams that are going to be targeting kickers and stuff like that too. So if they really don't feel like they don't have faith in Gonzalez, and if they spend an early 7th round or maybe even a late 6th round, I'd be like, but I would understand
late
it.
6th round. Oh, that 7th rounder I could put up with. All right,
Yeah, the 7th round.
go ahead. All right, let's move along here. Last year's draft. All right, what do we expect from those players this year? Ken, we'll start with you. You've been pretty quiet for most of
I
the
have
part.
the entire list right here.
Please, what do you expect out of these players this year? Who's going to step forward? Who might be in danger of not making the roster?
Jaden will incredibly continue to step up.
I think he's got a secure spot on the roster.
Yeah. Well, if he doesn't get a head injury.
Well, it did ruin your rugby career.
Johnny Newton, I think, is going to really – he'll be over that injury because he dealt with that all last season. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Mikey Sainer still. It was our 3rd pick in that draft. He's going to have a monster year. Someone I think that is going to still be brought along, not necessarily slowly, but given more responsibility is Ben Sinnott. I really, we saw a little bit of that in the NFC Championship game when fake field goal. He caught that ball about 40 yards downfield, showed good hands. He had good placement there. And so I think that was an indication that he won't have a breakout year, but I think he's going to catch maybe 25 or so passes this year to start to have an impact. Luke McCaffrey, I think he solidifies himself as a special teams returner, and I think he starts to really fit in with this receiver core.
Me too.
Now, before that, in the third round, I wanted to go to Luke first, but Brandon Coleman, just spending a little time with him, I think he is going to right tackle, and I think he's going to anchor that right tackle position for the next decade plus.
Yeah. Woo! I agree. Yeah. 100%.
Nice. All right, so then what do you think for Andrew Wiley? What does that say for him?
Well, I think early on he's going to have to play right guard in place of Sam Cosme. But when, let's be honest, Cosme's injury was late in the season.
Yeah.
Now, he might be ready by midseason, but he's still, given that kind of injury, I don't think he's going to be effective. I think you can get him on the roster, and if you need him because of an injury, he can be there. But I think Wiley probably plays the entire season at right guard. I know people don't want to hear that, but he's better as a guard than as a tackle.
Well, some people do want to hear that. Some people are heavily invested in Andrew Wiley and really want to see him succeed, like our friend Scouts there.
Hey, there was that rugby player we were talking about earlier.
He's right over here. He's the International Fan of the Year now.
Yeah, he is. Jordan McGee, linebacker.
Yeah.
He dealt with the injuries last year. That's a question mark, but the team is very high on him. So yes.
All right. Is he more? Are they looking at him more as an edge type player, linebacker, or are they looking at him as more of a roaming linebacker?
I think he's going to be more in the middle, like we see with Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
He'll be able to at Temple. That's what he did. He would cheat up to the line.
Now, isn't he supposed to be praying when he's at Temple? I mean, I don't know. I'm not religious.
I don't know.
Max gave up.
I don't know. If you're trying to match me on humor today, come on, Taman, get it together.
Well, okay. You win.
Anyway, no, seriously. Good question. I think you're going to see McGee getting more minutes. He's good close to the line, and he's good within the perimeter, but you try to get him deep. He's in coverage. He's not the best. So there's things he needs to work on. Now let's skip to the seventh rounder. We'll get back to the sixth rounder. Maybe as a fifth rounder. Javonte John Baptiste. I think he continues to improve.
Good. I liked him last year.
Yeah. He's very underrated. I think we'll see him a lot on the field this year. And
he had a bit of an injury last year, didn't he?
Yeah. And I see
in the French show, Jessy.
I see Javonte John Baptiste in a rotational situation and getting 4 or 5 sacks this year. So
good.
There you go.
You know, for me, a lot of times with the defensive end or the edge, which I'm not sure which is the difference now. It's more about getting in there and just causing a problem. Sometimes a guy that gets 5 sacks, that doesn't say a lot about what he's actually doing. You get in there and you cause a problem. I like to call it causing a ruckus. Just getting in there and being a fucking nuisance. That's good stuff.
One more. I want to go back to Dominic Hampton.
Yeah.
He struggled last year. He couldn't even make a mark on special teams.
When he injured?
No, he was fine. He just didn't have any kind of impact. My prediction is from last year's draft class, that's the guy who's going to be cut and gone.
Okay. Dominic Hampton is on Ken Johansson's shit list. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see. We are moving along. Has anybody got anything that they want to ask about that? Anybody got anything that they want to add to that?
For me, Senate, I think you're going to start to see a rise in Senate early on in the season. I think he's going to be our.
They paid Bates.
He's going to be our tight end one of the future. I love Sanders still. I think he is going to be a top-notch defender for our team for years to come. And I'm really excited to see how Jordan McGee develops. He was one of those picks, and you were like, it was just we were thankful for it just because of the fact that our linebackers have been so shitty, but we really just didn't see too much of him last year. But one interesting player that I have some high hopes for is a player.
I just got a call from shitty linebackers that are asking you to please not compare our linebackers to them.
from a player that didn't get drafted by us last year, but was an undrafted free agent in Tyler Owens. This team is really high on that kid, and
he's a special teams monster.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him kind of rotate in that safety room, and he's going to get some real minutes this year.
Let's hope so. It's not basketball. I would say when we talk about Mikey Sanderstill, or it's Sanderstill, yeah. I tell you what, I think maybe I'm just being an over eager fan, but there's 6 letters that pop in my head when I start to think about his potential, and they are ALLPRO.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, he's a dog, man.
He is a fucking good player.
He is a good player.
Yes, he is. He's a smart player. And remember when we drafted him, the first thing I said on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast is that I loved his leadership. When you tell me that Jim Harbaugh made him a captain, that speaks to me. And I think that stood out last year. Where do you see him playing mostly? Scotty, you haven't said anything in about 20 minutes. I understand. It's all right. You've probably got the king on the line. He's probably asking you your advice about certain things. But what do you think? Where are we going to see Sanderstill play this year? Inside, outside?
Sanderstill, I think it all depends on what we do in this draft. I mean, for me, at the moment, it looks like Sanderstill will probably play outside and continue to play outside, and the slot guy will be Jonathan Jones, who's come in from the Patriots. It's good to have the fact that you can go, two big nickels or nickels if you like, to say, well, they're there, and also obviously bringing back Noah I is helpful as well because it's better depth. I mean, if you look at what we had last year, Mike Davis, BSJ, it's Michael Walker, it's horrible. And now you look and you say, well, hang on a minute, we've got Jones, we've got Lattimore, we've got Sanderstill, and we've got Noah I as a backup. One more draft pick fills that room out, in my opinion. And I mean, I'm looking at a guy later on in the draft, like Quincy Riley from Louisville, who's come in as a top 30 visit, thanks to Ken for his tweets. And also was at one of I think it was the Shrine Bowl as well. So it's, they're going to be in on him. And I wanted to ask Ken that question. Do you put much in this draft when you're looking at what sort of players are coming to the Commanders or being scouted? Do you put a lot in the top 30 visits, Ken? Because obviously last year, 5 of the picks were top 30 visits. So,
let's clear up a misconception about top 30 visits. It's not the top 30 players on their board.
No, I get that. It's just 30 players that you want to see. Yeah,
it's just any 30 players. As a matter of fact, they brought the quarterback from Shepherd University as a top 30 visit 2 years ago. Well, he ended up starting for Chicago a couple years ago, the Bears, in his rookie season.
That ain't saying much to me.
Well,
I think maybe Max might have been able to start.
Jeez.
All right.
Anyway, and I like to mention Shepherd because when I was a senior in high school, they offered me a football scholarship, but I didn't go.
Good for them.
Yeah. But anyway, good school. So the top 30 is they're looking at players, for depth that they can, put on the practice squad. They're looking at players that they can zero in maybe in the middle or late rounds. And it's players that's going to fit in with what they do. And there's some first and second rounders they have as top 30 visits as well. They're just doing due diligence on as many as they can. But, they've also had private workouts. They've had 4 now of those, 2 of them being kickers. So here we are back to the kickers again, right?
Right.
And so they're just doing due diligence on so many players. Now, in a moment, if you want me to go through the entire list, at least as far as the numbers, we can do that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Tell me, in the top 30 that they had coming in, who is it that made your ears perk up the most? Who is it that made your eyebrow go up and go, this one, I think this is very interesting to me?
Okay. This is going to sound a bit cruel, but it's not.
I'm all for it, kid. Let's do it.
Last year and the years before that, there were a number of drafts along the way, probably over the last 7-8 years, where you've had a lot of superstars in the draft. First and second. This year, there are nowhere near the number of superstars in this draft.
It's a fat boy draft.
You have a lot of good players in this draft, a lot of starters, but that's it right now. Now they could turn into superstars, but right now it's just a lot of good players, first and second rounders. So nobody just really moved the needle for me. Now I will say that Travis Hunter is probably your one bona fide superstar in this draft, but they have no shot at getting him.
No.
So
I think Abdul Carter is pretty good too.
I think
he's pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think if we say in the first round slot, we're going to go best player available.
Good,
but with a caveat, it's going to be the best. If the best player available when it comes to pick 29 is a wide receiver, they're going to do that. They'll pick that player. If it's an edge rusher, they'll pick that player.
Yeah.
If it's a corner, they'll pick that player. I think these are the three positions they're really focused on in the early rounds of this draft, and maybe even into round 4. But I do think they want to trade down out of the first and gain a third, maybe even a fourth rounder if they move down enough, and get a little extra, way in the
third and fourth round action.
The problem is, and there's reports that I've heard about trading back, is there might not be anybody to trade back with. This draft is not necessarily
well,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
This goes back to what I said about superstars.
Right.
But all it takes is 2 or 3 teams that are in the first 10 picks of the second round that want to get a player and have that fifth-year option.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, instead of just for 4 years.
It only takes 2 to tango.
And then, if that player is good enough, not only have the fifth-year option, but then can franchise them for a year. So you can have that player for 6 years at a minimum.
But you're also too you're gonna be vying with other teams around our pick to be trading back with too. And I just, if I put money on it, I don't think we're trading back.
I don't think we are either.
Just because of where we're sitting.
I think it's 50-50. I think the team really does want to trade back.
I think they do absolutely do want to trade back. I just don't know if they're
what's available,
able to trade back.
How the draft shakes out.
I think
if some of these edge rushers come available, or are looking like they're going to fall, I don't think they will. Go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
I think it's 50-50. I really do.
Do you think if someone like Jackson Dart is still on the board and a Cleveland Browns says, "Hey, you can have our," you think he's going to be gone by then?
Yeah. Early 20s.
Look,
he shouldn't be, but he is going to.
I like what Ken says about. And I talk about you like you're not sitting there. Ken, I like what you say about how this is a draft of players that are all very good and there's no real superstars standing out. And I say it that way because they're there. We just don't know who they are yet. Like you said, they may pan out. What I'm saying is the draft analyzers, and this is no offense to you, sir, but the guys who really set the values of these players. All right, the guys who really set the values of these players preseason or at this time of year, they're guessing. And a lot of the time, and I say this all the time with the quarterbacks, we see, this quarterback gets hyped into such a fucking stratosphere that you got to have him. Yeah. And then 2 years later, he's the guy you don't want to pick up in free agency because you want this guy.
With this draft,
I like this. This is more of a chess game now because you've got to
because there's not many quarterbacks. There's not many star-studded wide receivers. There's not many star-studded cornerbacks. There's really, really good edge rushers, really, really good defensive tackles, but there's not much star power. So everything, there's probably going to only be about 20 to 25 first-round grade players in this draft.
To answer your question, John.
Yeah, thanks.
What's today? Friday?
Yes.
Yeah, so this was last a little over a week ago. I believe it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday because it was really stormy here. And so I was on the phone with a draft analyst, and we've talked to each other over the years. And we essentially agreed with the point you made is that sometimes we just don't know about a player or even a group of players. And he kind of echoed what I was saying. He said, who is going to be the player or which group of players are going to step up this year, to be the superstars? He said, he only saw 2 or 3. And I said, well, I see one, and that's, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I can see that. But I said, what's going to happen, and it inevitably it does, is that eventually there's about, 10, 12, especially in a class like this, that do make it to superstar status, and they do get there, some, maybe even more. And in draft classes where we don't think there's going to be all that much, it happens.
Right.
It's really good. But there's other classes where we think, man, there's a lot of firepower in this class. We go back. Let's go back to 1990. A lot of people thought that draft was just unbelievable, and the second overall pick in that draft was going to be the greatest offensive tackle for the next 15 years, Tony Mandrich.
I remember he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
And he was nothing.
Right. He was a bum. He's the ultimate bust.
And he was out of football. A couple of teams tried to give him, chances.
Right. He was the Incredible Hulk.
Football within 2 years. He was gone.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we don't know.
Oh, quick question.
That brings me up a question. Go ahead, Scotty. You first, and then I got a question for you, Ken, directly. Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you keep reading and hearing on the socials or in articles that there's not much difference between 15 and 30. And what I'm looking at here is I'm going to say, do you think that we put too much attention and too much is placed on these young players' heads as being a potential first rounder or second rounder or whatever, when in actual fact, when you fill in rosters out, it doesn't always, 9 times out of 10, it's not the first rounders that make the difference. I mean, look at who's a superstar on our roster. It's Terry McLaurin. He was a third rounder. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't make a difference where you're drafted. It's what system that you go into potentially.
I wouldn't.
That's the thing. You're right. Go ahead.
System, does play a part in it, but these kids are still developing. And where they've developed, they're not done yet. So where is their ceiling? Like even the coaches and GMs don't necessarily know that quite yet. And that's why, like Ken was saying earlier. About the 1990 draft, it was supposed to be star-studded, and for what they've seen on the field, that development is, gets halted, whether it's just by the player or by the coaching staff or what have you. You just don't know. Even drafted in the top 10 is still somewhat of a crapshoot.
I think it's always a crapshoot because I think a lot of people, for one, nowadays. I read a great article yesterday on Awful Announcing about how bad sports journalism has become because what's up, Twist? And hey, Kim, love to see you. And hey, you know what? Enemies are enemies, but when they're here, they're all our friends. The thing I read was about how bad sports journalism has become because it's all about the hot take and how can we look at this guy getting embarrassed and all that thing like that. So I forgot my point. And
no
Max,
shit.
please.
So, just a question
I'm talking to Kim and I'm talking to Twist. And
Ken, you might know this just more than the rest of us, but I mean, so in the last 20 years, how many sure things have there been in the draft?
One.
Jaden Daniels.
Peyton Manning.
Well, good thing Manning was 27 years ago, not 20. So
okay, so
stick to the criteria, please.
This is how long it's been in terms of what the sure thing is, because Peyton Manning was expected to be what he became.
Yes.
I can't remember,
but there was still some questions that first year.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, we're not going to go that far back,
but I mean, frankly,
we're getting deep into this.
There were two quarterbacks in that draft who were sure things.
Oh yeah, the other one was
Peyton Manning, and the one behind him, Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf.
Wow, yeah.
Didn't do it.
We're talking Mandrich level.
Yeah.
Even worse, because he was one of the first that was outed by a quick video thing where he was yelling at a reporter.
Yeah, he was in the locker room. I've seen that. Yeah,
right.
So
what about
in every draft?
Yeah.
There's going to be busts and there's going to be stars.
Mm-hmm.
Who it will be? Well, the Milky
why Adam
Way
Peters
will
gets the big
spin
bucks.
around, and it'll land on certain players, and other players it'll kick them out.
Right. So many things are a crapshoot, and that's what I was trying to say, was that it's such a balancing act that these GMs have to do. People think it's like Madden, where you sign this guy and all of his attributes are going to come with him. And no, you see a lot of draft picks. One of the things they say why quarterbacks have such a high bust rate is because they go to the worst teams, and the worst teams are the worst teams because they got bad coaching, they got bad ownership, they don't have a good roster.
I mean,
and they bust.
Say this for this year, I just don't think that Cam Ward's that good. But
okay,
I don't. This,
go ahead.
This quarterback class isn't good.
Let me
Scott
go-
was going to say
let me go
something.
through let me go through the
I'm
list.
done. It's okay.
Okay.
The number of quarterbacks that we've met with so far this pre-draft season is 11. We've met with 11 of them.
You said corner?
Quarter.
That's quarter.
Quarter.
QB.
Damn.
Wide receivers, we met with 49.
Okay.
Tight ends, 22. Running backs, we have met with 32. That's a pretty high number.
Good.
Offensive line, we've met with 62 total offensive linemen, and it breaks down as follows: 32 tackles, 20 guards, 10 centers.
Beautiful.
The most centers I've ever seen.
I think you get a meal credit for them.
Yeah. Corners.
Park
40
invalidated.
Yeah. We're going to defense now.
I don't
Here
see
are
us
the
going
corners.
offensive line.
Quarterbacks, yeah.
So here are the corners. Now we're on defense. We've met with 45. Safeties, we've met with 41.
Ooh.
Linebackers, we've met with 36. We have met with 70 defensive linemen. 70.
Wow.
And it breaks down as follows: defensive end, edge, 36. Defensive tackles, 34. So
you can see
pretty
where
much
they're
even.
focusing, that defensive
Well,
line.
yes and no.
And that receiver, defensive line, and cornerback, I think is kind
Safety.
of the
Obvious.
Anyway,
defensive back.
Running
special
back.
teams.
Running back.
Special teams, kickers, 5, including 2 of them with private workouts. Punters, y'all thought it was several punters, but they've only met with 3 of them. So
Yes.
long snappers, 3,
Okay.
and that's 11 special teams guys.
I don't think we
now
mentioned
this-
our long snapper one time this year. So he's
Now,
good.
Yeah.
we've
Tyler
had
Rock.
11 top 30 visits that we know of, but the chances are it's probably around 20, if I'm guessing this right. And that'll become known in the coming days. This past Tuesday, we had 34 players who were present for local pro day. We've had 4 private workouts, and I put down a special notation for 2 players that we have met in the process. One is, and both of them are free safeties. One of the free safeties is from the University of Wyoming, Wyatt Eckler, younger brother of Austin
look at that.
Eckler. Now, what I think, this was just a common courtesy thing, but
Probably.
he's a decent free safety. My prediction is they get him into training camp, undrafted free agent,
Special team.
and that way they can at least be teammates, for a summer. But we'll see if young Mr. Eckler would get to the practice squad.
I don't really want to be drafted, guy, or picking up guys just for freaking Reader's Digest.
Hey, you never know, baby. He could develop. You just never know.
Special
Now,
teams. Good.
now another player that they have met with is a free safety, and that's from Rice University.
Yes.
Gabe Taylor, the younger brother of Sean Taylor.
Right.
Now, would the team bring him in? Maybe. Okay. Because that's a hard one to read. But I think as a common courtesy, at the very least, they did
It's
meet
good
with him.
publicity.
They did meet with him at Rice's pro day.
I think
Now, there's
he's a draftable player, I believe, in day 3
No,
pick. I think
he's
is what
not.
I'm hearing.
UDFA.
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
You know,
They
I'd
met
bring
with
him in.
another. They met with another player at Rice University, Sean Fresh. Now he is a corner. It was first reported that was a top 30 visit. I was able to find out that it wasn't, that they did have a private, something of a private meeting with him, but it's still on the football field. So I'm really listing that as an informal meeting, and that's what it was, nothing more, nothing less.
Sounds like it. All right, well, let me ask you this. Assuming we stay at 29, is that what you – all right, Ken, just as our draft the official Bleeding Burgundy podcast draft expert, no offense to our good friend Scotty, who is also a draftnik. However,
he's better than me.
You think?
No,
all right.
No chance.
All right, well, then let's see. We're gonna have a draftnik off here. Assuming –
oh, boy.
All right, so do you – what? A draft
I thought he said the other word.
They're both draftniks.
I was like,
what? All right. So, assuming we stay at 29, all right, which for one, this is a two-part question. Assume we stay at 29, and for one, do you? And two, what is your top prospect? We'll start with you, Scott, because you've been quiet listening to Ken just yammer on about the whole thing.
It's very difficult to see what happens because a lot of the top edge rushers or so-called top edge rushers have a lot of red flags off the field. So your Mike Greens of the world, them sort of people, they've got very big issues. Isaiah Bond had issues yesterday at wide receiver from Texas. I mean, I'm looking at someone like Ezerike or Donovan Ezerike, or if Emeka Ibuka's there. If Amarian Hampton falls, maybe. Michael Williams, potentially again. Nick Scorton. I'm not sure. That's kind of the pool that you're in there. Someone will fall, but I think we will stick at 29 because I don't think we'll have a trade partner unless a QB like Jackson Dart or something falls, and then that way you might pick something up a bit later on.
So
But for me, I would go with Ezerike is the one I'd look at.
All right.
I think he's a little bit further down on my – okay, go ahead, Ken.
A player that they've met with 3 times, edge rusher, very good player.
Shamar.
A good citizen overall, Arkansas's Landon Jackson.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe not at 29.
What do you think of him?
It's a little
what do you think of Landon Jackson?
They like him a lot.
What do you think of him?
Well, let me just, preface that and say they like him a lot. The meetings they've had with him, from what I hear, has been very, very, very good, very productive. They really, really like him.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure you've watched film, right?
Yes.
What do you think? Would you be happy with him at number 29?
I would be happy if he would marry my daughter if I had another daughter.
Okay, all right. That's pretty good.
No, if I had another daughter, yeah, I'd be very happy if he married her.
Can he hit the quarterback?
It's a little too rich for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
On the second,
I really, really, really like Landon Jackson.
Okay, Jesse, you got something to say about it?
Yeah, I think that's just a little for Jackson. I think it's a little bit too rich. I am in the camp with Scotty as far as trading back. I would love to trade back. I'd be and I'm sure Peter's first priority is to trade back, but I just don't think we're going to be able to trade back. I think Shamar Stewart is a perfect player for us. Yes, he's only had 4.5 sacks, but the defense he is a great run stopper, and that's what they went up a lot against a lot of running quarterbacks, and his main job was to set the edge, and he was excellent at it. And he can still rush the passer.
He can play that elephant end.
So I am going him or Mike Green.
Scotty's having none of this. He's over there shaking.
Honestly, I like the guy. I've watched tape. He's super bendy. He's got real great athleticism. He's punch when he's hitting linemen. He looks amazing. His production is awful.
You can't
He's
look
a
at the stats,
4 year start. What do you mean you can't look at the stats? We have nobody. No. 4 years, 4.5 sacks, Jesse. That's fucking awful.
That's not their defense. Their defense isn't their ends. They don't make their ends rush the passer. That's not what their defense is.
Okay. I'm not.
It's not what their defense is.
But for what we need right now is we need someone who is
we
going
need to stop the run.
Quarterback.
Tell
we've got run stoppers. We've got run stoppers. We've got that in the off season. What do you think Kinlaw's doing?
Those guys aren't chasing.
We don't have no edge that can stop the run. We don't.
Who is the guy we just signed from the Patriots? What's
a bottom of the roster guy?
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay. So you want more of a defensive tackle than an edge, basically?
No,
is what
I
you're
want
telling me.
a edge setter that can also, when he is able to pass, rush the passer, which Shamar Stewart can do. But the defense that he ran he was never allowed to rush the passer. That's what the Texas A&M defense is. Their pass rush came from their defensive tackles.
So our weakest point on the entire roster is edge, and we have nobody who can hit a quarterback. We had last year Dante Fowler.
We
got
had
10
plenty
sacks.
of quarterback hits.
Yeah, I mean pressures, hits.
I agree with Scott on that.
Actual sacks. Armstrong hasn't filled us with exactly what we needed. Yeah, he's good as a second piece.
Spurts.
But now you lose Fowler.
Our
it's like
number one issue on the defense is stopping the run.
Correct.
We had
but
nobody that
have
could
you
set
not,
edge.
Have you not?
Nobody could set it.
Have you not plugged that by gaining these defensive linemen that we've got already?
These chump change defensive.
Well, you got to admit, Jessy, they're in wheelchairs. No money. They aren't going anywhere.
Chump change? We just paid 45 million for over 3 years. It's not chump change.
Okay, he's not a defensive. Going to be classified as defensive end for one. He's defensive tackle, and $15 million for
waving the white flag.
It's really not that much money.
I know.
That's actually pretty cheap.
Jesse,
in today's market.
With Stewart, you're getting with Stewart. You're getting a poor man's Jonathan Allen, from what I've seen. That's correct. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it can't be because Stewart's an edge and Allen was a defensive tackle.
I'm telling you, if you want someone who can stop the run really well from the edge and can get to the quarterback quickly, that's Landon Jackson. He can do it all. And
I'd love Landon Jackson in the second round, but he's not a first round pick though.
Yeah, well, if you want low production, go for Stewart. Go for him.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying if Ken is willing to allow this man to bang his other daughter that he doesn't have, I'm for him.
So more and more analysts are really lowering Stewart in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me ask.
I would not be surprised if he falls to the third round.
I will bet everything that I got that he's going in at least the top of the second.
All right,
definitely.
So,
100%.
Oh wow,
Scott. Yeah, I could see that.
Definitely,
Scott. But if we end up
really high on this guy, a lot of people are very, very high on Stewart.
I don't mind.
A lot of people are high on heroin. That doesn't make it a good thing. If we got Stewart at 29, how are you going to feel?
I'm not too bothered either way because what I've got to do is trust Peters knows more than I do. He's forgotten more about football than I know. So for me, it's a position. It's a position of needs, and we're drafting at that time. That's what we need. You need to draft the best player available, but hopefully in a position of need. That's what it's about.
So So Jesse, if we end up with this kid from Arkansas that Ken is enamored with, or how are you going to feel?
I'd be great with it as long as it's in the second round. If we trade back,
At 29. Okay, all right.
At 29, I'd fucking put in the Adam Peters papers and fucking fire his.
Jesse, I am in complete Jackson.
Landon is a little bit too rich. It's a lot too rich, actually.
No, you know what?
So that was a great debate.
Jesse, you're entitled to that opinion. And I tell you what, in this upcoming football season, you could be 100% correct. I'll back you up.
Hey, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Most people have. I've been to the circus. Hey,
where's Max gone?
Where'd he go?
He's had enough.
See, you had to go and mention people without assholes. Now he feels all self-conscious. No, I'm just kidding. He's a perfectly healthy young man.
Who I really like, I just think he's going to be way outside. He's going to go is Pierce. James Pierce.
I think from what I've seen with Landon Jackson, he's averagely on most draft boards at around about 44, 45, thereabouts.
Yeah.
If you can get someone of that ilk, which is what I'd like, Jesse. Listen, if we go for him and we've traded back into the top of the second round and we've gained another draft pick, I'm quite comfortable with that. I think that's a great showing.
Oh, it'd be interesting to see how also Mike Green's, the off the field.
Well, that's the thing.
Because he's another one that I'd be interested in.
All right, so do we really want somebody that's associated with an ilk?
No.
Yeah, why not?
I didn't think so. All right, so why not? All right, so okay, I have a question. That was a great debate, by the way. Fantastic podcasting right there. So, Ken, who do you see as our day 2 and 3 sleepers?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yes, sir. You're our draft expert. We heard how Scott handles things. He yells at people.
So you're looking.
I attempt to.
So who do you see that might be somebody that it's hard to say sleepers because we don't know how they're going to perform. All right, let me just speak for a minute. I'm really intrigued with what you've said about the draft, about how this is a draft full of good players and no real superstars standing out. And quite frankly, I have been A, busy, and B, I'm basking in the glow of an NFC championship run. And at 29, I have forgotten how to look at the draft because I don't know what's going to fall to us. I know what I would like.
Picking this high.
No. So I have a question that I've wanted to ask Ken now for about 25 minutes, and I forgot about it earlier because, I am old and this kind of shit happens to people like me. But you said something earlier about the 1990 draft, which wants me – when you were looking at drafts then, when we were picking at this range, 29, how did you look at it? How do you even consider what might fall to us? I mean, you've got a lot of guesswork to do before you even get to the part where we can maybe make a pick.
Well, that's just it. The team is going to have all evening to think about this and see who's dropping. Inevitably, when the next day comes and you have the second and third rounds, you're going to have probably around 6 to maybe as many as 10 players that probably are truly first rounders. So you're going to have good options. So the trade down thing, I think, is still, possible. But it's not unusual also to have
to be loved
2 or 3 players who are considered first rounders falling late in the second or sometime early in the third. It just happens. So the team picking where it is in those 2 rounds, 29th and 61st, is going to afford them the opportunity to sit back and just gather in all this information and see what they will be able to do. I think that's actually a better position to be in because instead of having to pick quickly and you're not quite sure, well, now you've had time to really go through
pressure's kind of alleviated a little bit, yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of have y'all seen the movie Draft Day?
I've thought about it, but I haven't watched it because
I want my picks back.
It's going to be so cornball.
Okay, it's not.
I want all my picks back.
It's not. Well, actually, Scott, that's a good part of the movie that I find interesting. It's when Sonny Weaver contacts the
Jacksonville
GM for Jacksonville, and he says, that's tough luck that you couldn't get the player you wanted, and he was your backup option. He said, but that's not the end of the world. What you can do is trade with us and you can get 3 second-round picks, and now you're going to have a full evening and into the next day to think about who you want to focus on. And that's part of why, as a young GM and the staff he had was like, we can probably come up with a really good player because we have time to think about it. So I think, picking 29th or 61st is not at a disadvantage. Yes, you're not going to get.
Oh, no, I'd rather be there.
Yeah, exactly. You want to because.
You've won. Yeah, so, you're doing well. So
there are good players that, are not the skill position types, but you're, the blue collar types that are going to be a difference maker for your team. That's why I like Landon Jackson. Sorry, Jesse, But I really like him. Well, there's 2 or 3 others. And so when we get to 61st, long-winded answer to answer your question, I think there's going to be 4 or 5 cornerbacks there that I think could be really very favorable. I like Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. I think he's, Darian Porter is going to be there, I think. So they're going to have 3 or 4 really good options. And if they get one of those really good corners, think about what the secondary room is going to look like then for next year. When you compare it to last year, it already is it's much better already. But now it has a chance to be exceptionally better.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break you off there.
That's okay.
It brought me to a question or a comment, really, about what Scott had said. But because I had to stop and wait for you to finish, I forgot what I was going to say. And that is my fault, not your fault. That is me being a fucking idiot. So, I'm old. That's the way it goes.
So, question real quick for you, Ken. We've been talking about edge for the last 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel if they went running back round 1 and pushed edge later?
Whoa. Who's a running back round 1 that could last to us, Ken, that would be worth it?
Hampton,
it would have to be a kid from Hampton from North Carolina. That'd be the only one I'd probably.
Well, we know that the kid from Boise State is not going to follow them.
No.
Is it Ashton Jessy in that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
But North Carolina or the 2 Ohio State backs.
If they Travion Henderson, that's just
first round though.
Well, it's just a little too rich for me.
We could get
because you're talking about a player
later. Right?
You're talking about a player that's going to may play out his first contract, but there's no guarantees beyond the second contract because running back, that's what happens.
Yeah,
they can play out one contract typically. After that, they just become a role player.
Right.
So you know, if you're drafting that high, you want someone that's going to be around for a decade plus.
Yeah, I'm looking at running back in the second or third round. Even Scatabo,
the competition.
I'd be right with him in the third.
Look, I tell you what, the thing about running back right now is everybody's all in this train about running back is back.
It's not.
Well, I mean, it is to an extent, but
unless you're a Barkley, unless you're a
you're not drafted. It's back because of Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Henry is a Hall of Famer. Barkley is well on the tracks towards a Hall of Fame career. So
none of these running backs are like the backs out from Detroit. None of them are a Derrick Henry. None of them are a Saquon Barkley. They're just not.
So okay, go ahead, Ken. Sorry. Yes, Ken, please cough it up.
No, that was an honest cough. Sorry.
That's fine by me.
The only reason I ask that is because when I look at the running backs and I look at the edge, running backs have more of a drop off after the top 5.
Is it though?
Compared to edge? And if all of the edges are gone, do you then go running back
in first round, or do you trade? You'd have to trade back at that point.
Given how deep this draft class is with edge players, you're going to be able to find an impactful edge player in the second round and probably even the third round. And if you're a bit lucky, even in the fourth round. You know, that that young man from UCLA, he's going to be a great edge rusher in the league. Now, he switched over from linebacker, so he's only been playing there for one season. But the reason that and I'm going to pull his name up while I'm talking about him. But the reason why we met extensively with him at his pro day is not because of,
I heard he knows good-looking chicks.
Here it is. It's Olu Jeho, and they know he's known as Femi.
I got to tell you, I called somebody Femi a J-Ho one time at a party, and I got in a fight.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So,
now, just let me tell you this. They met with him formally at the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They met with him extensively at the Team Pro Day meeting, and they've had a top 30 visit with him. They really like this guy. If he does fall late to the third round, I could see the team trading up for him if they still don't have a third rounder.
Okay.
But he could fall to the fourth. But again, Washington's picking at number 128 in the fourth round. I just don't see him falling that far. So
that even 128 would be a good place to target a running back too.
Yeah, exactly.
You got Trevor Etienne. If you wanted a smaller back, you got the guy from Virginia Tech, Tootin. He's got a little bit of a hands problem, but from all accounts, they said it can easily be fixed. But he's a damn good running back. And if you wanted a powerful back, Damian Martinez would probably be there as well too.
The player they seem to like the most as far as running backs in that range is Jarquez Hunter of Auburn. They really, really like him. They've met with him extensively.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Scott, what pick are you taking? What pick are you announcing?
Probably the very last one. I don't know yet. I'm not uncertain, but
give us a prediction as to who Scott's going to announce at the draft on international television while he decides whether he wants to promote the 1 Point Safety Show or the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
What are you talking about? It's going to be like an Oscar speech. They're going to have to get security to get me off stage.
That's right. Thanks to Yam. I wouldn't know anything
for Jessy
about
for
Big Eye
picking us up
Women
at the airport for all the games.
right. Thanks to Freddie for buying us tickets. Yes.
Yeah, Scott. Scott, this is my advice for you. I think it's going to be in the 6th round, but go to YouTube and look up Sir Roger Moore, Sir Sean Connery, and Michael Caine.
We're drafting James Bond? Fuck yeah.
No. And Michael Caine.
Can we get cute too?
Look up those three guys.
Well, Michael Caine too?
Put those 3 names into YouTube. And what will come up is the 1989 Oscars when the 3 of them presented the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. And it was priceless. And they did a great job of presenting. And I tell you what, you'll be able to capture that British humor when you're up there on stage by watching those 3 guys, and you'll do a great job. I know you will.
Deluxe wants to know, Ken, what are your thoughts on Marcus Yarns as a later pick, Delaware running back?
They did meet with Yarns and at Team Pro Day, but they didn't meet with him anywhere else. And they didn't have him in for Pro Day, which is really interesting. Team Pro Day, I thought, was the concept of within a 75-mile circumference of the team headquarters. But they had players from West Virginia, from University of West Virginia at the local Pro Day. And last I remember, that's like 130-some miles from, Kim.
Can you imagine that, though, if you come out and it's like,
anyway,
the name's Bond, Isaiah Bond, Texas.
Yeah.
Dude, if you did that would be awesome.
But Yarns, I think, is just someone with they were doing due diligence with. He's a good player from what little I saw of him. So undrafted free agent, I think that's a possibility.
A lot of places, they got him in the top 20 of the running backs.
Isaiah Bond, real quick, Isaiah Bond. That's intriguing. If he drops, you got to take a chance. You don't.
And I would love for Scott, if that's the pick, you've got to say Bond, Isaiah Bond. He's
gonna go. He's gonna go minimum
center all day.
He's gonna. Imagine that Bond. Isaiah Bond. Texas.
That's right. And you got to do the look and everything. Dude. That's right.
He's going to drop, I think, into possibly the 3rd round, which is he was a surefire first rounder. Yeah. No doubt about it. Mid-first round. Talking.
Do we see?
I think it's probably 15 to 20 thereabouts, but maybe late 2nd, maybe even early 3rd round now.
I see a lot of people talking. You're listening to like Bram Weinstein and John Keim and stuff like that, and they're bringing up receiver, maybe early. For one, I don't see it. I don't I think we might pick up a receiver. I just don't see one early. What do you guys think about that?
A receiver?
I don't think the receivers are that good.
At 29, it's just a matter of how it all shakes out.
I don't really think the receivers are that good in this draft.
I mean, unless McMillan somehow falls, I just don't think.
What about his wife? What if McMillan's wife falls? Of course, you got to be old to get that. Ken understood.
You got Matthew Golden that will be probably available right around 29. I just don't see really. I think our receiver room's okay right now. If you want to get one in the later rounds to try to develop, sure. But I know Twiz doesn't like Deebo Samuel. He's just jealous because the Eagles didn't
suck on it, Twiz. Here's the thing: you're champions until next year when the Super Bowl comes up, and then you have to defend it.
Hey, John,
until then, go ahead, Ken.
What was that McMillan reference?
The McMillan wife.
Who?
No, I was talking about the receiver. The top rated receiver in this class.
Who's his wife? What is that?
He was being a dumbass.
I was being a dumbass. That's how it goes on this show. I was being a complete dumbass. Now, speaking of being a complete dumbass, Scott, you don't remember McMillan and wife? It was one of those ABC's mysteries on television way back in the day.
Me and I don't do primetime TV. I never have.
Really?
I assume it's Dawn.
How did we ever become friends? I don't know.
He likes Days of Our Lives.
You don't do primetime TV.
No, but that was like 1978. All right, so I'm dating both of us, which is interesting because I don't know if I'd ever date Ken. I mean, it's nothing personal, dude, but and I'm sure it's mutual. All right, so Scott, you are heading for the draft. International Fan of the Year.
Yeah.
All right, and Scouse is now accompanying.
Scouse is, he is on the same flight from Manchester, although we are in completely different parts of the aircraft.
Oh,
which
really?
I'm quite happy with.
You've got some elbow room.
They have to take him to the back because his head's so big to weigh it out. So
that plane's going to fly like this.
Scott did it.
All right.
We're sorry.
What time? Okay, 1:22.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Your time for the game is 1:22.
Yeah.
Scouse's head arrives at 1:24. All right. I just want to make sure that before we even begin, because we're going to do some things here, and Scouse is going to be mad at me, and Scott's going to shake his head at me. But shots were fired earlier this week, and I didn't start the thing. In fact, I made a picture of my own self holding my tongue. So, with that being said, what's your itinerary, sir?
Apparently, we have I arrive on a Tuesday night very late into Green Bay. I think it's about 11.
Green Bay?
Yeah, Tuesday night.
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
That's where the draft is. Yes.
Oh, I understand that's where the draft is, but an airport
Tuesday
there?
Yes, there is an airport there. So I fly from Atlanta. I fly from Manchester to Atlanta. I have a 5-hour layover in Atlanta, and then a flight from there to Green Bay. Probably a ramshackled.
Can we make a quick over-under real quick? How many cows is Scotty going to see when they land in Green Bay between the runway and the terminal?
Oh, they're on the runway.
Over under 7.5.
We got a cow wrangler.
The only airline that flies into Green Bay is Butt Slug Airlines.
That's exactly it. Captain Gustav's plane. Yeah,
Captain Gustav. That's right. Welcome to Butt Slug Airport.
Yeah,
We're flying directly into Green Bay.
You said you and Scouts will be on separate parts of the plane. You're going to be right across the aisle from him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
But and then I get there about 11. I get there about 11:45 p.m. So by the time I'm in the hotel, it's going to be very late. And then Wednesday, I have apparently an interview with the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell.
Oh.
You're on mute.
So have an interview with Roger?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
No shit.
Apparently.
How about?
And then
I have one request. While you have a minute with Roger, just say.
Sean Hockley.
That you cannot. Yes, you fired three officials. Why wasn't Sean Hockley one of them? That's one thing you can say. And two is you realize with all of these fucking rule changes you've put in, you can't protect these quarterbacks, right? Make them wear pads and play football.
And then Wednesday, I think
Ken's had enough of something. Sean Hockley sent him into hiding.
Wednesday, I think we've got a tour of the stadium and the tour of the draft room and what goes on behind the scenes. Then on Thursday night, there's a red carpet event where I get to walk down the red carpet with the players that are there.
With the players
there, let's go.
Yes.
Was that part of the Make a Wish?
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
That's part of Scott's journey.
Don't call me Cindy for nothing because I'm one chromosome short of being Downs. But there you go.
I'm telling you what, if you walk up to him, if you put your glasses on like upside down and walk up to him and hold your hand out there, I'll be like, "Oh, ain't he the best, man?" Get a picture of me with him.
Always hold Scouse's elbow and just keep pointing.
Yeah.
While you're doing all this VIP stuff, what's Andy going to do?
I have no idea.
He's riding on his coattails, Ken.
I think
oh my
so.
God,
no idea.
On Scotty's coattails.
Dragging the world's largest pumpkin around on a blanket.
And then who else is? And then Thursday night, I get a jersey. Apparently, as does all the others with International Fan of the Year 24. I think I get to go on stage 24. Thursday and have a little bit of a wave session. That's about it for about 5 minutes.
Well, you had to make video of that.
God dang right! Look at them, ain't they cute? They from all around the world. Look at them. Goddamn right, boy.
So there's 6 of us. There's 6 of us in a WhatsApp group at the minute that are from the UK and Ireland. So we have the Steelers, the Jets, me, Jags, and who else is in it? Oh, Browns and
the
Bears.
Jags. I just got to ask.
No. It's a guy called Jamie. And what I will do is I'll find the video of the guy who did the Jags last year. It was ridiculous. He was completely painted up like a Jag with a big top hat,
like a Jag.
It was wild. When you look at it, I was like, wow, this is cool.
I'll tell you what.
And I think LJ's going to the draft. I think a few of the hog farmers are. So it'll be interesting to see who turns up. But the only bit I'm not looking forward to is standing for so long. I can't be arsed with it.
Well,
especially
I'll tell you what. Wait till you see. Well, let's see. Rodgers a bum, worried about injuries, but we'll make the Giants fix their field, give players less days off, but trying to ban a play that he don't like. All right, let's go real quick. Let's just do real quick. Twist is an Eagles fan. Tush push, ban or not, Jesse? Quick.
If the play was done legally, I'd be okay with it. But the play's not done legally, so I'd get rid of it.
Scotty.
Get rid of it. It's a fucking waste of time. It's a rugby play. Not interested.
Ken.
Get rid of it because they line up in the neutral zone all the time.
All right, Max.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you can't line up in the neutral zone. You can't. Yeah. You have to have certain non-player on the line and off the line. It's time and time again. They don't get flagged for it. Now, if they would do it properly, then I probably wouldn't have much of a problem with it.
Do you know the other thing with the Max? Sorry, Max, go.
Jesse said it, but yeah, that repeat what Jesse said for me. There we go.
Right. To me, don't fucking ban it. If you've changed the rules to allow the defense or the offense, because Ken, you remember this was not, and Jesse, you remember this was not allowed. If you're going to change the rules to let the offense push from behind, then change the rules so the defense can do the same thing. And if it's a rugby play for a 1-yard scrum, then let it be that. Let it be a test of strength. But if you're going to do it, make it even.
I think the problem.
Why has no one thought about the draft excluder? Why don't we use the draft excluder?
What do you mean with that?
You know, like you've got so in rugby again and in football, or my football, soccer, when you have a free kick or a penalty that's outside and everyone's lined up in that like scrimmage sort of formation, there's normally a player that sits the other side of it and lies down. Like
that's what Chris Jones tried to do in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so why don't we do that? Because then you're not going to sneak over the top of him.
Well, because he'd look like a homo.
Or you just keep doing what Frankie Levu does, and then the referee gets so pissed off. If you keep
we're back to Sean Hockley. Fuck Sean Hockley.
Scotty, and looking at Green Bay on the map, they do have a 40-yard turf. There's a 40-yard turf field that looks like for a 40-yard dash. Oh, please.
All right, so they are going to do a video blog while they're over there. But
with my knees,
I've put together. Now let me see if I can do this right here with 5 of us on the screen. Let me see if I can get us all over there.
There we go.
All right, there we go. All right, so this can you see it?
Yeah, we got it.
Yep.
Top 10 things
for Scott and Scouts to do in Green Bay. All right, so let's see. The number 10 thing for Scott and Scouts to do, you have to register as lactose intolerant. If you go to Wisconsin and you're a lactose, you have to register. Otherwise, they can arrest you. Number 9, of course, buy a cheesehead hat. There you go.
Oh, my word.
I gotta tell you, we got to get some tunes on for this here. So we need some background music. So let me just.
I love the fact that you've got me in my Newcastle Falcons top as well. That's quite good.
There you go.
What was that word, Scott? Hang on.
Give you your druthers there. All right. So and of course, if Scott gets a cheesehead hat, we have to go get one for Scouse.
You shit.
No.
Same size.
I quote, you saw the chat this week. Scouse took pot shots at me, shot a few right over my bow. I even sent a picture of me holding my tongue, and he did not back off. So there you go. Scouse gets a cheesehead hat. Number 7, things to do while you guys are in Green Bay. Go to the random house, ring the doorbell, tell them you are the official Commanders International Exchange fans, and the NFL says you are supposed to be staying with them for the weekend. I want you to video this. Dude, I went on Google Earth and I looked
It's
at
so bad.
The stadium's right in the middle of a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, I know.
Right there. Right next to it, it's like this little tiny church. It's funnier than hell. It's kind of goofy to me. But it is. It's a very small town. All right, number 6, bowl 10 frames at the lovely Riviera Bowling Lanes in fashionable North Green Bay. Now, look, we all have seen the Riviera. It's one of the billionaire playgrounds here on planet Earth. It's a gorgeous place. Now, I think that they have captured it perfectly here at the Riviera Bowling Lanes here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now, like I said, I went on Google Earth. I found these are real places, and I think this is something you guys should do. Let's see. Number 5, climb the top of the historic Belling Building, the tallest skyscraper in Green Bay.
It's 5 fucking floors.
7 floors.
It is 7 floors to the roof. You can see almost 5 blocks in any direction. Actually,
Nice.
It's in the Midwest. You can probably see 500 miles. You can probably wave to Scott G, and he can see you from the top of the Belling Building. And I think that they do have a rotating hot dog stand, so you can have a Frankfurter while you're up there. Number 4, excuse me. Go to the Vacuum Cleaner Museum. It's off of exit 195. This is real. I'm not saying start any trouble, but go in there and start an argument about whether it's called a Hoover or not. Okay. Number 3, go to the local Home Depot. Explain to people that you are illegal aliens and need to know where the day workers hang out. That's what I'd like to see. All right, number 2, hit Green Bay's hottest club, the Oval Office Strip Club. I'm dead serious about this place. It is in the heart of the bustling nightlife area of the city. This is
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Wow.
This is like Madame Tussauds or something. I mean, seriously, this is the strip club in downtown Green Bay, and I guess this is the Horror Hotel. This is Blowjob Alley over here. I'm not sure.
Jesus Christ.
What's the number 1 thing then, John?
all right. I showed you that you can buy a cheese head, and you can buy another cheese head for. All right, well, you can buy a whole cheese suit, so Scotty can have a cheese suit.
I got one more.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Be sure to register with ICE as illegal immigrants.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
Yeah,
right.
We have to do that. Yeah, we have to do that.
And that way, that will give you a ticket to stay.
And you can
One
visit
thing-
South America.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice though is the hotel I'm staying in has a water park inside it.
Really?
That's pretty cool. Actually, I was like,
Probably a fountain. All right, so what hotel are you staying in? I gotta look this up.
it's called the Tundra Hotel.
The Tundra Hotel.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my God!
Mm.
I have the. It's probably made of stucco.
The Tundra
right.
Lodge. This is a nice hotel.
Tundra Lodge. And that's it. Yeah,
It's
not
a
too bad.
3-star hotel.
So okay, well there you go. There's a Bleeding Burgundy podcast episode. Jesse, you have an announcement to make about our brand new website.
I do. I have an announcement. John just gave it away. We have a brand
I
new
had to remind you what it
website.
was.
It's still we're still kind of working out the kinks and the details. And we're hoping by draft time we'll have our first articles up.
Yeah.
We will have it's the
Jesse, real quick, just to cut in, just because this is pretty funny. I'm looking at the Tundra Hotel. It is located at the intersections of Lombardy and Bart Starr Drive, as well as Bart Starr Drive and Mike McCarthy Way. So that road does this.
Dude, that's in a good spot. That's
I'm
in a
sure
good spot.
we'll have an article about that hotel from Scotty, I'm sure.
Don't worry.
Here's a little more on that hotel. Hot water is optional.
Hey, there you go. Optional as opposed as confirmed by the management. Oh, sorry.
And water.
The spa isn't, the steam room isn't actually steam. It's someone just having a cigarette outside, blowing it through the window.
And here's something else. Water is courtesy of Lake Michigan.
There you go.
Nice.
What can you ask for? I mean, what more can you ask for? This is living, Scotty, out on the pioneer lands.
So if you can't get enough of us, a couple times a week, you will be able to find not only from this podcast, but the 1 Point Safety Show and the Bunker. We're all going to write, and we'll have some guest writers on there as well. I know I've talked to Deuce, and he said he'd be happy to once in a while throw an article out. You'll be able to find not only our podcast, but we'll have the 1 Point Safety Show links on there. We'll have the Bunker links on there. We'll have merch. It's probably going to turn into probably an R-rated podcast at some point in time because of the language.
I mean, look, Scott. Scott has bared his nipples on this podcast.
That is true.
I actually have. Yeah.
I mean,
do it again.
I mean, that was
Keith's taking us to the toilet.
Keith is taking us to the toilet, and Ken, that smiling ham was really.
But we're excited about this. John has put in a lot of work, hard work on this. And bleedingburgundy.com. Expect
there you
go. Some articles here soon and blogs.
Yeah, it'll be the usual fun stuff. All right, so we do have some email, and you can write to us now at bleedingburgundypodcast@gmail.com, and we will be glad to ignore you like we have done for the last 5 years. But no. We'll actually take a look at it. And we've got some emails to share with you this week. So let's see. Our first email today, let's see. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Comes from Bonjour. I hope you can help me because no one else seems to listen. I heard I got signed by the Chargers and I'm trying to get to the airport to fly out to L.A., but I can't seem to catch a cab. Every time I get close to one, it goes right by me, or I try to grab it and some idiot throws a flag at me. Can someone give me a ride? Regarde, B. St. Juice. So anybody out there that would possibly like to volunteer to give this gentleman a ride to the airport, we'd be very happy, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Let me see. I'm lost in here. So let's see. Email number 2. We do have number 2. This one's kind of big. Dear podcast, hi. I am still considering, just being within my time on this planet, getting in touch with my chakras and fine-tuning my Byzantine rays and, maybe considering Scientology or maybe even the Steelers. But, I don't know, man. I met this dude at a Fish concert, and he gave me a hit off this canister of laughing gas, and, man, I swear I signed with the Seahawks. But when I called, they said no, they signed Sam Darnold, and I thought, shit, I must still be high on this fucking gas. Anyway, I can't seem to find my wallet. Have you guys seen it? My credit cards and shit like that are in it. Sincerely, Aaron R. So, I don't know if we've seen his wallet. I don't think we've ever had him on the show. So, no. Aaron, we can't help you with that there, sir. Email number 3, and you're going to have to make your screen bigger for this one. This one's worth it. I am writing this email today to refute the claim that made by some fans that I don't have any vision and always run up the back of my line. No, Charles Pilot. Sincerely, Brian Robinson. All right, so there you go. Those are our emails for the week. I don't know about this, Brian, but what do you guys think? Does Brian Robinson always seem to run up the back of his lineman? I think so.
Yes.
So it's official. The official International Fan of the Year says, yes, Brian Robinson, you always run up the back of your goddamn.
Not always, but he's got a habit.
You to a fight. No, we're not stopping here. He's challenged you to a fight, Brian Robinson. Best out of 3 falls. Scott Hartley will meet you in Green Bay next week.
Let's kick him in the leg.
2 weeks.
Be all right.
There you go. 2 weeks. Sorry. We'll send Brian up there anyway. All right. So thank you for joining us today. For all of you that have joined us today on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, we've had a great time. Ken, what are you expecting out of this draft? Are you expecting any surprises?
Given the lack of superstars that at least we know of, I just think it's going to be pretty much a cut and dry draft. There will be a few trades that will surprise us, but I think overall everything will go according to the script.
So
the Giants will fuck things up.
Yes.
Well,
good.
Can I ask two questions?
I think that speaks a lot to John Mara, and
Weasley bastard.
yeah, that's just who he is.
Yep.
So
he's a Weasley bastard. Go ahead, Max.
Assuming that Cam Ward goes 1, would you guys want the Giants to get Hunter or Carter?
Carter.
Yeah.
I guess I'm on the lone wolf. I would want to get Hunter.
I think I'm with you. I think I'd take Hunter. I think Carter's going to be a more impactful player.
It's very easy to script out a number one corner as opposed to an
injury.
Well, I mean, think about this. When you talk about those two players and you talk about them in that spot, which one of them are the Giants going to be able to get more out of is the question I ask. And which one's going to have a bigger impact? And I'm thinking a guy that's up front that can cause that many sacks can probably have a bigger impact than somebody that's at the back end.
I think the Giants have done a lot of work on the back end anyways, and adding something else.
I mean, Brian Dable looks like a fucking butt plug.
But hey, look, they've had a decent offense. They've built their defensive back room is very, very good. So adding another one, I'd probably rather go against the edge rusher with our stout offensive line now.
And then also, did you see the news about Derek Carr today?
Yeah.
No.
Derek Carr might miss the whole season because of the injury he suffered last year, which would open the door now. Does Shedeur go 8 or 9, wherever the Saints are?
Well, I have a solution there. What I think we should do is trade, if he is lost for the season, we should trade Josh Johnson to the Saints for 2 first-round picks.
There you go. There you go. Call upon the ghost of Mike Ditka, and let's do it. All right, we've been on the air now for almost 2 hours. Let's go.
No.
Hold up before you go. Any rumors about TJ Watt? What I've heard is some social media talk about how the Steelers could avoid paying him the contract if they were to trade him. I just don't see it happening. The Steelers are sitting there right now with no idea what they're going to do at quarterback, that they're at least putting out. They're waiting on Aaron Rodgers and his.
I'm sorry. The man that is saying all of this has a Jerry curl in 2025.
That's a bold person. You gotta respect that. Yep.
That's a wild haircut.
Twiz, we're on with you, buddy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say we've been on for damn near 2 hours, and I love talking to all of you about all of this kind of stuff.
But he's hungry.
Yeah, I am.
I'm starving.
Ken is starving.
Can't hear you, John.
You can't hear me.
I
can now, yeah.
All right, so I always like it when Scott gets to this point of the show because he does his Stephen Hawking impression.
No, I'm just tired, mate. It's 12:15.
I know. It's late for you.
The Masters are just about to end for the day, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. And coincidentally, so are the golfers. So until the next time that we see y'all, which is right about the draft, Max, don't go going away. You got to be able to stand tall.
Are we live streaming for the draft?
Oh, I don't know what the hell we're doing. Live streaming for the draft. We're picking at 29.
I mean, are the three of us going to be live, and then Scott can make a guest appearance like Keith did last year?
Who the hell knows? We'll figure that out when we get to it.
Yeah.
So until then, hey, bleedingburgundy.com. You can go ahead and check out our new website as we build it. Bleeding Burgundy Podcast at gmail.com. Please send us an email. Please say your name. Please say the site you're on.
Yeah, Hogshaven.
There you go. Hogshaven. I was about to say it wrong because
that's okay. We
I
have
got your name right.
We have all the pre-draft meetings there and all the details thereof. and I will have a mock draft coming out early to middle part of next week. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be my only mock draft of the season at HH. And I will say this. If the pick is Landon Jackson, first, whether it's trade down or at 29th, you'll have to have me back on here right away. So I can talk to Jessy about it. Now, if it isn't, and Jessy nails it with Stewart, then I do have to come back again, and he gives it.
We're going to call Ken, and it's going to be a busy signal.
No, I'll take the beating, and gladly so.
Well, that's what we're looking for, man.
I don't care who we get. I want an edge rusher out of this draft, whether it's first round, second round, third round, whatever round. I do want it. I want an edge setter. We really
somebody that makes an
lacked
impact
that last year. And I want all the help we can get stopping the run. And that was our weakest link last year.
I agree.
So whatever helps stop the run, I will be all for.
Me too. I agree. So we will see you right around the draft time. And yeah, Ken, we'll definitely have you back, especially immediately following the draft. We want to hear about your take on the picks that we've had and how we're looking going forward as we head into the next most boring part of the fucking season from
rookie camp,
May to June. May to July.
With a whole bunch of other season ticket holders and Santana Moss and Clinton Portis and all kinds of people.
Oh, you're going to a party?
Yeah, I'm going to the Busch Gardens party.
Oh, hey, hell, there you go. I tell you what, get on a roller coaster with Clinton Portis. Ask him some insurance tips.
I can't get on roller coasters no more, but
oh well,
yeah,
that sucks. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast.